Our Empress, Anastasia Romanov, takes lead in the meeting, going over what we truly know and then adding what we believe, such as, we believe only weapons of silver or cold iron will be effective against the goblins. So, steel swords and great weapons are all that will be effective against this otherworldly foe. Guns will be totally useless, unless the bullets are made of steel, or at least are steel-jacketed. Thoughty police will be there. We believe that their weapons will not be very effective, if at all. We are hoping a couple of them may bring their shotguns, which do fire steel loads, but we doubt it. What weapons they will have, we are uncertain of, but we believe that they will be made of bronze, and possibly be poisonous if that they cut any of us. Unfortunately, arsenic is a byproduct of producing bronze, highly poisonous. As far as numbers, we have no idea. We just assume that we will be heavily outnumbered. We also fear that these goblins may be physically stronger than us, as well as the possibility that they may have weapons that we have no knowledge of, possibly even what we would consider magical ones. It's the old story of what you think against what you know, which is very little. We only know what we saw. We also send a message to those running fair that we will be showing up with all of our people, many in armor. We usually only show up with a maximum of 20 people, including our royals. We will, for the first time, be emptying our camp to go to the joust. They are actually very pleased with this and tell us that they will rope off a large area on the south side of the field. We will also, of course, have all of our allies with us as well, most fortunately. At the meeting, our Emperor, Ivan Siger, outlined who that he wants to be where. We will all have a place in the order of battle. The Steel Fighting Group offers to inspect everyone's armor, looking for gaps that can be deadly to us. Of course, not being fools, we accept this kind of service. They inspect our armor and help tighten the gaps, so now that the armor will protect against edged weapons. We can only guess what weapons that they have, but Her Majesty, the Empress Anastasia, reminds us that she believes that the goblins will have weapons made of bronze. Because of their extreme fear of cold iron, we call it steel, which is made mainly from iron. Now, bronze is heavy like iron and can also be very sharp. Also, a byproduct of bronze is arsenic, which is a deadly poison to humans. So even a scratch from a bronze weapon can be deadly to us, as she already outlined to us. We must be very careful if we must deal with bronze weapons. Needless to say, heavy gloves will be mandatory for all fighters. We have no idea what other little surprises that the goblins may have waiting for us. After this meeting breaks up, we go back to preparing for the evening. Sharpening swords, triple checking our armor, those with bows check their bowstrings to make sure that they don't snap. Those that practice what you would call witchcraft, that I call practitioners of the arts arcane, prepare their talismans as well as rest so that they have energy to use on our behalf. Of course, they also consult their spell books to try and find protection spells that may be effective against the goblins. Most magic in our world is very subtle, but this is not going to be a subtle event. This will be out-and-out war. During this time, I place my personal talisman around my neck, and I say a silent prayer to the gods that I believe in, that we survive what is going to happen, and that they loan me their strength, for I am a mortal man, and I am only so strong. I'm pretty sure that many others are doing the same as I am. A gathering of witches. Her Imperial Majesty, the Empress Anastasia, then gathers all of those that consider themselves witches, those that study the arts arcane. She lets them know that though many of them have been solo practitioners in the arts, that they must all swallow their pride and work together if we are to survive this event. For the most part, all agree and immediately start trying to figure out how to work together, as well as compare notes on the dangers that the goblins pose to us. Fortunately, all are very forthcoming about sharing all that they know. It is decided by all present that the Empress will lead them. Now, this is not a witch's coven per se. What it is a gathering of people with the potential to use magic and or witchcraft to aid our cause. This news is then reported to the Emperor, who is with a small battle staff at this time, composed of myself, Duke Sir Vladimir, Masashi, Artinian, Sir Maximus, and Sir Varian, as well as General Sir Annius Laurentius, who are trying to formulate a plan for if and when the goblins open their portal. The best that can happen is that we are wrong and look like a bunch of nuts in front of our friends. The worst case scenario is beyond my ability to imagine, and we will just have to cross that bridge when we come to it. And what I could imagine is pretty bad, with at least some of us dead, and the rest of us slaves to be brought back to the goblin realm. We must do all in our power to let that not happen. The consequences would be horror beyond my considerable imagination. That is why we are all working so hard to be prepared to oppose the goblins if and when that they come. As I have said before, we cannot let this happen to us and those that we love. Not to mention all the innocent people that will be sitting in the stands tonight. Our other royalty, King Tiberius, King Edward, and King Tardus next have all very busy helping entertain the fair-goers, as well as several of our dukes and duchesses. This buys us even more time to prepare for tonight, being that most of us have to concentrate on possibly fighting a real battle. I, for one, am grateful for all that they are doing, especially since King Tiberius and King Tardus are peerless fighters. They know the importance of their buying time for us. Also, the wonderful cooks in the kitchen are asked to make us all something both filling as well as nourishing. Tasty too, they quickly come out and serve everyone what that they make. We will need the strength for later tonight. The servers come around and make certain that we all eat as well as drink lots of water. They are very insistent on our drinking lots of water. I am truly grateful for what that they just did for us. It is truly a team effort. We start to get into our armor, checking it for fit as well as lack of gaps, as well as checking our weapons for sharpness and grip. At this point, our swords have been sharpened to a razor sharpness. If the goblins do come through, they are going to be in for a fight. We are going to be as ready as we can be, we hope. The people from all of our allied groups also show up in armor with sharpened swords and, more importantly, ready for battle. Of course, we are all nervous about this. Before we go over to the jousting field, Emperor Ivan Sigelfer calls for a court, where he gives the order we will march over to the field, as well as how we are to set up on the south side of the field. The Emperor stands in front of us all and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, what is about to happen on a field will be for real. This will be no game. This is no joke. If there is a battle, and I hope there is not, and we were all imagining what we saw, it will be to the death. No shit for real. You already know what we are expecting. We've done our very best to explain this to you all. This will be dangerous, very dangerous. Even if we survive this, we will have to deal with the authorities after it's over, and that will not be fun either. I suggest that you all blame it on me if it comes to that. I will need all volunteers who are crazy enough and believe in me and their oaths enough to take part in this. I cannot and will not ask you to throw your lives away needlessly. I can only ask you all, fighters and non-fighters, to trust us. If we do not oppose these goblins, or whatever you wish to call them, many truly innocent people will die. And I intend that we stop it dead in their tracks. All minors are excused from the fighting. This is not going to be a great adventure. It will be a battle for our lives or till our deaths. If you wish to stay, help guard our non-fighters who will be behind us. Any who do not wish to take part, please leave the Ren Fair now. If you stay, you will be in real no-shit danger, and you may die. This is why all the fighters are carrying real steel weapons that we have painstakingly sharpened. We are going to try to oppose these goblins, as well as try to protect all that we could with our own very lives. Either way, thank you for being here and part of our guild. Myself and the Empress, who then takes a bow or courtesy, love you, each and every one of you very much, and do not wish to lose any of you in this battle that we may have. Thank you for listening. If you are in this to the end, follow us. If not, when we leave the camp, just get to your cars and leave. Do not look back. Nobody will think less of you, brave or stupid. With that said, there is much milling around as people try to decide what they are going to do. Even some of the fighters are starting to have second thoughts. I hear some of the comments, such as, "I didn't sign up for this," followed by, "Neither did I," from several of them. Then, surprisingly, one of the younger fighters, only a squire named Hawk, says, "Look everyone, I don't know about your people, but I took an oath to defend the weak before the very gods that I worship. In this being a game or not, my oath means the world to me, and that is why I know we should stay and fight. Yes, it's insane, but I must live up to my oath. I say that we stay, live up to our oath, or we die trying." All the fighters are stunned by this young squire because he said it the way it is. I am floored by how well that he understands the oath of knighthood as well as being a squire. The look on those that were thinking of leaving is amazing. You could see that his little speech affected them greatly. They look at each other, almost ashamed of what that they were thinking of doing, leaving. For a moment in fear, some had forgotten the oaths that they have taken, though those oaths were only given in our guild to those of us that have been knighted and or squired. The simple truth of what the young man said hit home in a most impressive way. Somewhere in that oath was a pledge to defend those who could not defend themselves. We are to stand up for the weak and defend them against those that would do them harm. When all is said and done, we all must live up to our oaths. We are knights, even more so than in medieval times. The knights back then had few if any scruples, and for the most part, they were not knightly by our definition. We are, for we choose to take that oath. Wow, now, while this discussion is going on, some of the mothers of the children present start to gather up their small children and prepare to leave. I, for one, cannot blame them. After a moment, they stop. I can hear them saying how dangerous that this could be. They all agree with that. However, those staying behind are friends who will help to fight against this great enemy. They do not wish to leave them behind. Literally, they all decide to stay and help, however, that they can in the fight. It will also be a good lesson for the children not to run and leave friends in danger. One of them calls to the highnesses and say, "Your Imperial Majesties, though we are scared to death by this, we cannot just up and leave you in the lurch." The thought of leaving is tempting, but no, we will stay and assist you the very best that we can. Even if it's only staying in the back, praying that you are successful. The Empress answers for both the Majesties. "Thank you all for your faith in us. We are astonished and very proud of you all." She is crying as she says this. With that, we all prepare ourselves to head over to the jousting field. There is much silence in our group, just a little whispering among us as we prepare to move out. It is not the silence of fear, though. It is the silence of people getting ready and mentally preparing for battle. Most of us are deep in thought. I talk to as many of the fighters as I can, especially the younger ones, to gauge their attitudes to what we are going to do. Some are a little afraid, never having faced death before, and I try to help to calm them down. I tell them we will fight as a group, no heroes in this. We need to work together to defeat these creatures, and also to remember our training. This helps to calm most of them down a little, not totally though, and then we fall into marching order to go to the jousting field. We will all go together to show solidarity. Then again, it may be smarter to run. Oh well, we are committed to this either way. Maybe we're not so smart after all. Crazy, yes, definitely crazy. Though we march into the valley of doom, we shall fear no evil, for we are the evilest MFs in the valley. We march over to the field, our heralds letting people know to clear the way for our merry band of nuts shout. Make way for the Emperor and Empress of Northumbria. Clear the way. Sane people would not be doing anything like this. Like I said, crazy. Sane people would run for their lives. We may be marching to our deaths. We all have our game faces on. Upon arrival at the jousting field, we are ordered to set up a shield wall, with the shield down in front of the stage that the thrones are on, against the barrier that will separate us from the jousters. That means that the bottom of the shields will be on the ground until the Emperor orders us to take up arms. The archers will be behind the stage prepared to quickly come on stage to lose their arrows. The general populace, who are at best lightly armed, will also be with us around or behind the stage. This way we could keep an eye on them and also protect them as well as possible. The witch types will be near the Empress, for when they are needed, we are prepared as we can be, we hope. We get to the field a full 20 minutes before the jousting is ready to begin. This way, we could set up our little army according to the Emperor's instruction. When we get there, we try to warn the jousters once again that something bad may be about to happen, but in their supreme arrogance, they ignore all our warnings. About 10 police officers arrive just after us and try and find positions to combat a motorcycle gang that they are expecting due to our warning. The people who run the Ren Fair are impressed with the number of people that we brought, as well as all of our people in armor. It is an impressive sight, if I do say so myself. We look good. Fortunately, no one notices the sharpened swords at our sides. Helps that they are sheathed, I guess. We are in our places and are hopefully ready for whatever happens later, good or bad. If not, we will certainly find out the hard way.